Shalom and welcome once again to Treasures of the Torah. I'm Pastor Matt McEwen. This week, our Torah portion is Vaikra. We're starting a new book, the book of Leviticus. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but little children begin to study the Torah starting in the book of Leviticus. And we might ask ourselves, why start there? Well, the same question was asked in the Midrash, and this is the answer that is given by Rav Asi. He says that the korbanot, or the sacrifices, are pure, just as a little child is pure and innocent. So let the pure study the pure. I think this is a beautiful explanation for this. Going along with this, we have a wonderful story that is told about Menachem Mendel of Lubavitch, who later becomes the third Rebbe of Chabad. He goes to school in the Cheder, and the school for the children. He goes there the day after Yom Kippur when he's 3 years old. It's 11 days after his third birthday. And his grandfather is there, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, who eventually writes the Tanya. He's there in charge, and he asks the teacher, Reb Avraham, to start the lesson with the book of Vaikra. And at the end of the lesson, this little 3-year-old child asks, why is the word Vaikra written with a little aleph? The word Vaikra in the Torah here has a miniature aleph, and here is the answer that his grandfather gives. In the letters of the Torah, which God gave at Mount Sinai, there are 3 sizes: intermediate letters, oversized letters, and miniature letters. As a rule, the Torah is written with intermediate letters, signifying that a person should strive for the level of the intermediate man, the Ben Ani or Oni. Sometimes it's pronounced in Ashkenazi Jewry as Beinani. But the idea of being intermediate, not being overly righteous, not being wicked, but being sort of there in the intermediate. And that is what the Tanya addresses most of all. Well, anyway, this example is given by his grandfather that Adam, the name Adam, is written with an oversized aleph in the book of Chronicles, chapter 1, verse 1, because his self-awareness led to his downfall. He was perhaps maybe thinking a little too big of himself. On the other hand, Moses, we learn in the Torah that Moses was the most humble person to ever live, and that he had a relationship with God that was face-to-face because of this humility. And Moses was aware of his insufficiency. And because of that, he attained the highest level of humility that is expressed by the miniature letter Aleph in the word Vaikra. What about you? What trips you up? Do we sometimes think of ourselves more highly than we ought? Are we being an oversized Aleph, as it were? Or do we have the type of humility like that of Moses that would allow ourselves to be looked at in the miniature? I think it's interesting that we are encouraged to be intermediate, to not think of ourselves as too holy, but also not to be wicked, that we need to be right there in the middle, knowing that pride can be our downfall, but so can false humility. Let the pure study the pure. As we enter into Vaikra, it would be my desire for you that you follow the message of our Messiah Yeshua that says that we need to come like little children to the Bible, that our faith needs to be like that of a little child. The pure needs to study the pure. Thank you for joining with me this week. If you'd like to study with us in Yeshivat Shuvu, go to shuvu.tv and you could fill out an application there. Thank you once again for joining me. God bless you. Shalom.